Hey, what's going on out there, YouTube family? This is Samuel Legge here representing Team JVS. I am back here again for another movie review. This is for a Netflix exclusive. This comes out March 11th, and I'm talking about The Adam Project. So Adam Reed, he's a young kid. He's about roughly 11 years old, and 11 or 12. And he basically is kind of got like a smart mouth, and he's always mouthing off, but very smart, but he's always consistently getting beaten up. And then one day he goes to his backyard and he sees his dog like running to what looks like to be like a wreckage. And he sees this strange man played by Ryan Reynolds, who ironically ends up being him from the future. This is kind of like an amalgam of Back to the Future mixed with a little bit of Star Wars mixed with a little bit of something else. But what did I think about the Adam Project? I actually had a really fun time with the Adam Project, and I'll kind of dissect the whys as opposed to kind of just giving it to you straight. So first off, the scope and cinematography, as well as like the visual effects. The visual effects were really good in this. I was really surprised because I was like, some of this stuff like looks really freaking good. There's a younger, what was it? I think it was called The Star Kid. It kind of reminded me a little bit of that, but like way better budget. Like from the fights, like a lot of the fights, like any enemy that's coming from the future and the past self is trying to combat it, like if you kill it, like it literally vaporizes. But if something happens the opposite side of that, say if something happens in the past and somebody gets killed in the past or gets hurt in the past, and it affects the future, and that the effects of that is actually really freaking good. But the actual gunplay, the fights, the action, when it's going, it's actually really good. Even down to like the aerial fights. The aerial fights are actually really good in the ships. It's actually really surprising how well they were able to do off of this kind of budget. The other thing that I feel like actually works as well is the chemistry. There's an immediate chemistry that you feel with Ryan Reynolds, because Ryan Reynolds plays the role of Big Adam, or Adam Reed, in the future. And then I think his name is Walker Scoble. Walker Scoble. He plays the role of young Adam, and they have so much chemistry because honestly, they're playing off each other's tropes. Like he's playing like a Ryan Reynolds would be. And I mean, this has happened before. Like Adam Sandler has done this many a times, but this is very different because even though they were going back and forth with each other, they're trying to correct each other's mistakes in their own timeline, you know what I mean? Without changing the scope of the timeline. And I think that from an acting standpoint, it actually works really well because I think that there's a level of sincerity and heart to Ryan Reynolds' character. As much as like, you know, he's kind of like the brawler and like tough exterior, like he's got a lot of emotional resonant things going on, as well as Walker. Walker is playing the role very well because at the very beginning, like, kind of like, hey, this kid's a jerk. There's something wrong with him. You know, he's being really mean to his mom. But you find out all the layers. The layers start getting peeled from Adam on different levels because young Adam's understanding, oh, wow, I grew up to be this. And then the older Adam, who chose to forget all the past, is having to be reminded of who he used to really be, which is so fascinating and actually makes it very sincere and somber in terms of the interactions. Then you have Mark Ruffalo plays the role of the dad, and then Jennifer Garner plays the role of the mom, Ellie. Jennifer Garner does a really good job. There's a scene in a bar sequence that it kind of like, how do I put it without spoiling it? It makes you comprehend the understanding of every parent, you know what I mean? Like trying to deal with an impossible situation and make it something that's gonna work out, and hoping beyond hope to make it right, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like she's giving a moment of levity, but at the same time, it's such a real serious moment because it also plays a role towards Ryan Reynolds' character later on and him understanding who he really needs to be as much as who he really was. As well as there's another interaction with Walker and Mark Ruffalo that's such a beautiful and heartbreaking moment all together as well. Like they all have a really good moments in chemistry. The family actually works really well. Catherine Kenner in this one, they do something with her character that towards the third half, that was one of the things I didn't like. I didn't like the way her character kind of just closed off. But the big positive with it is, I mean, Catherine Keener, she's a great actress. I mean, last time I seen her was in Get Out, and I mean, she's in 40-year version too. But they do something really fascinating with her younger self from a CG standpoint. It looks great. It looks really good, and that's why I was saying that it plays into the VFX and the budget for this. It's actually really well done. Zoe Saldana as Laura. I'm not gonna say who Laura is, but when she shows up, she leaves an impression. Like she makes you remember, nah, like I'm still Gamora, I'm still Columbiana, like I will still whoop some tail, and also add levels of emotion that are needed to make the stakes real. You know, I think the thing about this from a story standpoint is that this could be really cookie cutter. Like you go to your past self, you do this, do that. But one of the things that always was good about the Back to the Future franchise is that the reverberating effects, just like the butterfly effect, are very serious. Like the ramifications of what could be are just as serious as the things that you're trying to do. Like, Marty knew he didn't get the magazine from Biff, that this will leave a lasting effect on his future and his kids' future as well. And with this, because it's such a serious situation, which they make comedic a lot of times. I mean Ryan Reynolds is a character, and so is Mark Ruffalo. He's a great actor. But because there are real ramifications, like you have to add like the Jennifer Garners and the Zoe Saldana to make the emotional resonance something that you want to gravitate towards, and which makes this a really fun, entertaining. I think this is one of the better Netflix films that they've come up with in a long time. Is it the best? No, I'm not going to say that, but it is a very entertaining ride, and I think you can easily have your kids watch it, and it's something that I think that you, as an adult, I think you would really appreciate. That's one thing I can kind of say. I rest this at a 8 to an 8.5 out of 10. Highly recommend you check out the Adam Project. And yeah, stay tuned for we got a lot more coming in just a little bit. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Peace, guys.